this. And it's actually not been easy because right from when even fuel was at around 600 plus, it started telling on people, started telling on average Nigerians out there. And now that the price is ridiculously on the high side as 1,000 plus, wow. I wonder what is happening to Nigerians out there. So, how are we going to handle this situation? Let's hear from you because as it is now, we're just there, we're just at the surface, we don't know what's happening. So, sister, what do you have to say?
It's I think right now the correct word to use for what Nigerians are facing now will be agonizing, is like excruciating hardship. The fact that we don't even know what to expect anymore. I was just sharing with a friend yesterday that Nigerians cannot even speak out again. It's like they've
Honestly.
lost their voice and lost their power of speaking out against what's going on. Because the fuel price hike was astronomical. It just came so suddenly. I remember the particular day it happened. I was going to check on my children who were attending a camp, a holiday camp.
Okay.
And then the price fare going to the airport side was was normal. But on my return, it had gone 3 times the price. And I was so shocked that day. I was imagining how it would tell. And truly, by the next day, the transportation cost, which is one of the things that is going to be affected now,
Yes.
it's affecting families in so many ways. But let's even start with the transportation cost. Whether you drive or you don't drive, everybody is in for it,
In for it.
honestly. A lot of people have just parked their car. I was asking my neighbor, you use a tarpaulin to cover your car. Is something wrong? And he was like, no, you will
Nothing.
not understand. As in, I'm not even going to bother trying to look for fuel because the only NNPC station that is around, the queue is so long. Despite the extreme, it's not as if it's cheaper.
It's cheaper,
It's
yes.
not as if it's cheaper. That's where the pain is. The
Yes.
fact that the price is astronomically high and you still have to suffer to get it, and then it doesn't take you anywhere. You are buying fuel 10 times what you used to buy it as at last year, and it's not taking you anywhere. So there's just no point. So I think we are all just, there's nobody, I don't think there's anybody that actually has a solution. We're all just scrabbling and trying to find how do I adjust, how do I continue my life, in Nigeria right now. That, I think that's what the situation is now, that everybody is just scrambling for, grasping at straws and
Honestly,
trying to.
it's really getting, if I should use the word, crazier.
Mm.
Yeah. So if it's still, the program is on the effect of the price, the fuel price hike to Nigerians. So if you're just joining us, you're not too late. You can still join us. And please, let's know your views. What do you think? Because the program is for us who want to hear your input. You want to hear, probably you might have a best solution that could help the country. And probably the government too don't even know how best to really tackle the situations. And it's high time, like I always say, it's high time our voice is heard. So please endeavor to join this conversation and indicate if you are there. Just send a thumb up, or just drop a message on the chat. Like yesterday, I was actually at the market and I saw this very man. He was looking so, elderly. You know that this is a man with a family and all that. And he came. Even one woman was even trying to like, okay, Oga, come and buy Gary for me, or come and buy. He just, madam,
As in, he knows what is in his
madam,
pocket.
you know,
He
he
knows
just
how
came
much he has.
to the pepper seller. I was like, Oga, I beg, give me this one, 100 naira. Give me this one, 100 naira. I just looked at you. I was like, wow, this is a man with family. This 100, I'm sure he's
You
not cooking for
cannot feed
himself.
them even. You can't feed them
And
even
he
for
just
one
gave him.
day.
And when he was like,
It's painful.
federal government, I don't want to.
Even
It's so crazy.
a Mefura, they don't know, will tell you that when you say why is your something so expensive, now she will just tell you, Tinubu, she'll just say it's
Everybody,
government. She'll
it's the
say it's
government.
government, it's petrol.
It's so
The
crazy. Like,
tailors, shoe cobblers,
yeah,
everybody
so,
is the fuel price hike.
and everybody is paying double.
Yes.
Like, there's a popular analyst that I heard him recently was like, Even people cannot afford to eat common suya.
Yeah, that's even going too
Suya
far.
on the street. A suya that you can, with your 100 naira or 200 naira, you get a suya
That's
and
even
you,
going too.
to
Nah,
satisfy
I think
you
we'll
for that
consider that as
money.
a luxury now.
Yeah, but he says this is not like we need protein in our body, and it's part of it.
And I think one of the most crucial aspects of family life affected is the feeding. The feeding, in fact, somebody said to me, nobody is eating normally. And this is somebody that is actually well to do, somebody
You
that I
know,
feel like is well to do. And she's saying, nobody is eating the way they used to eat now. If you were eating 3 times before, you have reduced it to twice. If you were eating twice, you've reduced it to one. If you used to eat 4 pieces of meat in your food, you are lucky if you can put one now, and things like that. So things are just, just different for everybody.
for everybody.
Even in terms of celebrations, people have cut down on a lot of
Those love
celebrations.
celebration.
I was asking somebody the other day, who had put to bed. I said, please, when is the naming? I need to come and eat hamala. And she said, you see, leave that one for now. Leave that one. We have named the baby already.
I feel it will stop. It will stop them
So,
from naming the baby.
everybody is cutting down on expenses, but the issue is how far can we go?
How far?
Just how far do we need to go before things finally, because the rhetoric we hear from the government is that things will get harder and then it will get better. But the issue is at what point do we reach the peak? Every time Nigerians think that, oh, this is actually the limit of our suffering, we can't go any further than this, another new policy comes in that just beats people down even more.
And they will tell you, in fact, what's the painful part is that the price of fuel is not about to go down.
Wow.
It's so glaring.
That's so sad to hear.
It's not about to go down. And someone was actually making an analysis recently. It was like, now, the normal language on the street is everybody go collect. But then, it's normal, but the truth is, everybody also needs Panadol to face this country. I mean, starting from the Dangote, who I heard is now importing, he now produces fuel even at a high price. He will need paracetamol, he will need Panadol. The federal government will need double, trying to, the citizens also need Panadol. And he explained them one after, even analysts will need Panadol. So everybody will need Panadol to face it. But then I feel it's always tells on Nigeria. However, the government tries to because if you ask them now, they'll tell you it's for the good of the country.
I think where Nigerians have an issue, of course, we know that everybody is paying the price. The government also will talk about, their policies are well intended and they are only doing this for our own good. But I think where the people feel pain is where you are telling us to tighten our belts, to cut down our expenses, to adjust our lifestyles. And then we are seeing so much reckless spending on the part of the government.
That is it.
That is where I think the problem, there's a disconnect somewhere.
There's a disconnect
I think there needs to be more deliberate actions by the government to show that, these things really are for our own good. It's not looking like it anymore.
It's not looking like it.
And people are just so tired. I think people are just really, really tired.
People are tired. They feel they are tired of talking. Even if they talk from now to tomorrow, it doesn't make. But it will not stop us from talking. We will keep talking. Let our voice keep being heard.
I don't think it's even good for any government that people just remain silent in the face of hardship. I think it's proper that sometimes they listen to and feel the pulse of the people and just try to know exactly what people are going through. Because of course, as a government official that is being catered to from the treasury, may not actually know exactly what is going. But when they hear from the ordinary people, and I tell you, there are so many cases. If we want to talk about the scenarios in terms of how it affects families. How there is so many examples to do, and all of them are just heartbreaking. I remember seeing a boy just 2 days ago from these LEA UBE schools, which is the lowest level of education. And this boy was looking so sad with tears coming. He was coming back from school and his school was locked. I didn't know that the UBE school, the LEA schools were on strike anyway. So I asked him what's happening and he said, they said there is no school, the gates are locked and he's going back home. So I said, well, is like a rest for you or something? And he said, no, that the school had resumed since last week, but he wasn't able to go because his parents didn't have the registration fee, the money to go. And so he was so happy on Tuesday, coming to school now to finally resume school his parents had gotten the money, and then the school is on strike because of unpaid salaries for the LEA or UB teachers. I just felt sad for this boy.
Yes.
So that's another dream being cut short by government policy. So we
True.
need to, I don't know, we need to talk about this kind of things
Yes.
and try to see what can people do to ameliorate the suffering. There has to be a panacea to all these problems. We just
Yes.
can't keep going from one hard policy to another, and then it just doesn't. There's no cloud. There's no silver lining anywhere.
There's none.
That people are seeing, because sometimes they say it gets tough before it gets better. But I think it's time to start seeing the silver lining now.
The silver lining, like, let's start. I keep wondering, like, when will Nigerians ever smile again? I mean, we keep facing one hardship, one issue or the other. And as it tells on families, it also goes to tell on schools. Because if family face a hardship, they find it difficult to be able to pay their child school fees. And then the school themselves, they want to, increase
of course,
salaries to meet up their running costs
of their teachers,
of the management. And then they too will also be faced with debt, people owing them because of lack of, payment of some student school fees, whereby they are also increasing school fees, So as the more they increase, the more debts they keep.
And the more they lose students. In fact, it's really, the situation is really actually funny. You can't go here and you can't go there. Back and forth. I remember last 2 sessions, a lot of parents withdrawing their children from private schools into public schools to cut down costs, to cut down their family running costs. And in doing so, they took their children to the government schools. And even now, the government schools, to both higher, secondary, all the levels of education, they have astronomically increased their school fees too. Federal universities have increased, state universities have increased their fees. And so there is really nothing affordable anymore. Like the example I was giving, now that the LEA schools are on strike, and this boy's parents were barely able to pay the school fees. Is it that kind of family that will take the boy to a private school? It means that for now, there's no education for him. So all those families that withdrew their children from private schools, it has not actually helped. It's from frying pan to fire. The same thing with feeding. The same thing with feeding. A lot of people are going into agriculture, which is actually good, but then again, there's insecurity, So, and the fuel price hike is affecting everything. It's affecting every single thing. Though I will still advocate that all of us think of ways to plan things, to go into agriculture, to try to feed ourselves from whatever it is that if it's in our backyards and things like that, since some of the farm areas are no-go areas due to insecurity. And so it's just too many problems coming all around the same time. I think 2024 was a tough year. And we hope that 2025 will be a better year. Yeah, not just transportation, not just feeding and school fees, so many other areas.
And then the funniest thing, even in workplaces, if someone says, okay, fine, I can no longer meet up, because I know of someone who is even planning to resign from her job right now, because when she sat down and calculated her transportation every day to work, it didn't meet up with her.
Based on her salary.
Her salary. She said it's higher than even her salary now. So how can she cope? Now she's planning to quit her job and go into petty business. Petty trading. Even that trading, how is she sure that she's going
businesses
to...
are closing down.
Businesses
are closing down. So, and I know another woman who has a shop where she sells baby wears, clothes for children and things. And she was telling me her shop, she cannot stock up, number one. And the goods she even has, nobody is buying them. I said, look, people are thinking of how to feed. So, and because things are more expensive now, you go to pick a baby dress and they are telling you 18,000. And this is you trying to feed. So you are just going to forget about that. So, and she said, what is taking away all her customers is the people that are doing the second-hand or cricket business. I said, of course, you cannot blame them, even though you're my person. But I cannot blame those that will refuse to buy from you and then prefer to go to the second-hand because they are struggling to feed. And so that one is not a priority. Those children, those expensive children, it's not a priority. So you should think of changing your business. And but she was saying that the foodstuff business is the only thing that is
That
actually
is
moving.
moving now.
Now
Yeah.
people have to eat no matter the price of the food.
Yes.
But because of the stress of all that, so businesses are having problems. If you are moving from private sector, you now want to go into business, there are many challenges to face. Everybody has to factor in transportation costs in whatever goods you want to buy. You want to travel to Lagos, Kaduna, anywhere to get goods to sell. You have to think of the transportation. Your goods will be expensive.
You're expensive. So I don't know.
The
What
is
could be as at this point now? We don't even know if you tell people to keep cutting their coat according to your
they
size,
have
because
cut and cut.
they cut.
They have cut and cut the coat, and there's no more sizing them again. So, but if we were to provide solutions, the majority of the solution will lie in the hands of the government of the day. But I think on a personal level, we always start and end everything, of course, as Nigerians, with prayers. But I'm saying now, not just prayers for our individual selves, but for everybody around us. We need to pray for our friends, neighbors, families, everybody, and then pray for the government. Not just that God guide them, but that God tells them, make them know the reality on ground, touches them to understand exactly what the problem is and how to solve the problem for us. Because for many people, it's almost looking as if the government does not know what we are going through, and their policies are just not reflecting that they understand the pain of people. So we need to put that in prayers too, that God directs them to do the right and actually touches them to feel compassion for the people. The second thing is just like the agriculture issue I was talking about, that everybody just finds a way, and nothing is beneath anybody again now. Before, as a professional, I would say something like, I'm not good in business, I don't like the stress of trading and things like that. I don't think anybody should look down on any skill again now. We all have to learn new skills, try new things. You cannot look down on anything that can fetch you money. Not one source of income is okay. You cannot depend on your salary, because even those with very high salaries are saying it's not enough anymore. Your children's school fees is more than what it used to be.
Yes.
Food is more than what the cost of maintaining your car is more than what it is. So whatever your salary, you must think of a second source of income, and nothing is beneath you.
That is just
don't feel too big to do anything.
Think of a source, no matter how little, think of it, because one source of income is no longer it can no longer really help Nigerians. Now, talking about agriculture, a widow was like, okay, even the farming that she was doing, that she once farmed and went into farming, and she harvested large quantity of goods, but then that was worth almost 1 million.
Grains.
Okay. But then what happened? The herdsmen came and so is it that one? Is it that kind of person that wants to keep going into that
farm?
That's where insecurity comes into.
Yeah, insecurity issues. Yes, that's what I'm saying. There are too many things piling up all on top of one another around the same period, and that's what I think government should consider. The fact that this policy should have come, this policy is coming at a time when we are also dealing with so many other things. The issue of insecurity, because of course, everybody just wants to be able to take care of their families.
Yes.
But if they also have to contend with bandits or kidnappers or things like that, again, it just makes. And I think another thing we have to look at is the fact that crime is going to be on the increase now. Crime is actually going to be on the increase because they know that their children are engaged in one thing or the other. But because he's bringing in that. So we are praying against a situation where ordinary citizens turn to crime or unpalatable kind of businesses. And then, of course, generally finding out what the next person is facing. How can you help? Whatever the tough. Remember just the example I was giving of going somewhere.
Yes.
Going to around airport at particular transport. As in, you couldn't even beg him. You know, some people that did not know that the petrol had, and so were begging, please take us for this price now. Why are you tripling? He was so angry because he had faced so much.
Yeah.
You know, stress. Yes, he faced so you guys were just looking. He was just swearing and cursing, you know, cursing everything that they want to kill, because it gets to a point where it just looks as if, what's the point of my talking? So everything, all of us were just looking at him. So, but that apathy is what I don't think is to talk, you know, to each other, about each other, and God may just make it possible that the things we say will get to the ears of the right, will happen.
We pray so.
So citizens will need to help.
So the thing is, if you're just joining this show, this not too late, and if you don't know what we're talking about, the topic is the effect of the price of fuel on Nigerians, the average Nigerians out there. And please, if you have any comment or any suggestion or best solution you think can help this country, please indicate it in the comment section, and please let us know. Please, your comments is very important to us, and your input too is important as well. So let us know in the comment section, and let's know that yes, we're not talking to ourselves, we're actually communicating with people out there. All right, what do you think will be the solution to this current situation? How can Nigerians, how can the average man out there be able to come out of this situation? And what is the best solution for government you think the federal government can put in place to make sure that yes, everybody gets it right, or we get it right, and it doesn't affect the average Nigerians out there, because people are really suffering. You can testify to that too. If possible too, how do you think this can get to the government so that they'll actually know that yes, people out there, because some of them might, in fact, they might not know. They're just placing policies up and down, not knowing how it's affecting the people. So if you have that, please indicate in the comment section. Let's talk about it right now. Like I said, our voices need to be heard. Please don't withdraw. Don't withhold your voice. Don't withhold information. Don't withhold opinions. Please let it out, and let's find, if possible, a lasting solution to this. Because I mean, we won't be in a situation whereby the free price will be sitting there and we will not be able to afford to do anything. I mean, it's just be hunger. I mean, people are dying, sister. People are falling sick. People are dying of hunger. People are hospitalized, even in the hospitals too. Is it not money they will pay? And definitely bills too will be hospital bills too will be added. And then how can we afford those bills?
In fact, all this while we're all lamenting about the price of foodstuff. The fact that you go to the market in the morning, and when you come back in the afternoon, the price of what you bought has increased already. And so we're talking about that, and somebody said to me, well, you should pray not to even fall sick, because the cost of medicine is 10 times what. And I said, wow. So this is a period where you cannot afford to fall sick. Just try not to fall sick, because when you go to buy drugs at the pharmacy, you'll be shocked at the price that you are going to buy. And this period, so many children having malaria, falling sick due to the rainy season and all that. Parents know how much they've been spending. Everyone knows how much they've been spending on treatments and things like that. So whether you are going to the hospital, I was reading a news report that the rate of malnourishment in the Northeast, I think, not even before the Maiduguri flood disaster, that the rate of malnourished,
if it's something for them. Now I'm trying to,
pay the
medical bills for their
hospital.
It's medical bills for their hospital. It's really not.
And the reason why urgent action is needed from those that matter, from those that have a say, and from those that have the power to change the situation. The reason why it's urgent is because the gap has closed.
Yeah.
The gap between the middle class and the lower class has closed, and now they are now seeing one level is seeing the other as the enemy.
Okay.
Somebody narrated a situation, I don't know which state he lives, but it was the Nigerian situation where people that you are looking at as beggars have suddenly just become violent, and they are saying, if you can drive a car, it means you are among the people that are suffering us. It means that you are still enjoying. It means that you are still, eating and getting food in your house while people like us are going hungry. And some people surrounded this car. He thought they were begging for arms, but their demand was just like, just give us something. And he's saying, but I don't owe you anything. This one is not begging again. They are saying, you people that are rich. And the man said he doesn't classify himself as a rich person. He doesn't regard himself as a wealthy. He's just a struggling lecturer, by the way. Oh. But that they had this demand that those of you up there, you are the ones making us suffer so much with your policies. And so we need to take from you people what is our right. Another, he narrated another incident where he went to pick up a way bill from a park.
Okay.
And as he was still talking with the driver, the load was down, and some people just came and helped him carry and put everything in his boot, help him load everything into his boot. And so he thought they were just being good Samaritans. So he said, thank you and all that. And they were like, are you planning to drive off or what? Settle us now. He said, but I didn't beg you. They started to insult him and things like, so everybody just wants to take. And that's why I was saying that we need to be concerned about the rising cases of insecurity. Criminality is going to be on the rise. Where people are hungry, they are angry, they just want to do anything. Burglary all the time. In fact, in my area, I was hearing about people whose house was burgled in the broad daylight.
Yes.
Once everywhere looks quiet, enter your house, take away all your electronics, and we are all. The truth of the matter is that we are all in it together.
We're all in it together.
But what is worrisome is this dog eat dog situation, like a jungle situation where people are just taking advantage of. The truth is we are all in it together, which was why in the other video, the other time we talked about the rising price of foodstuff. We said we need to be merciful towards each other, because you, the trader that is hiking your goods, even though it's old stock, you need to consider the fact that the people that are buying it really don't have much money like that. The civil servants are still waiting for the implementation of the minimum wage and all that, and you are hiking goods like this. So we all need to be merciful to each other and not see each other as enemies.
Yes.
Which is why I said we need to speak out and speak to each other to understand what the next person is going through.
Yes.
Because
about the hike in price of goods, actually, I met my customer, one of my customers, and I told him, he would tell me when he increased the price just within 2 days of going there, and he increased the price of his products. I told him, how about Oga? This thing has been in your shop for long now. Sir, Hajia, you will not understand. Now, even though I have this thing now, this product now on ground, but then if I don't sell it at that price they are selling it now, if I should go to buy, I have to buy at the new price. At the new price, I will be the one at loss. So I really actually got to understand.
They say it's not their fault.
Yeah, they'll tell you it's not their fault that. But then I will keep saying it for how long are we going to do this? So the only solution here is, like you rightly said, we need serious prayer. If possible, fasting and prayer. So we need
no, you even need to fast. But I think nobody needs to tell you before you start to fast all the voluntary and involuntary fastings, because the food for you to eat is not there. So when you fast, it takes away some of the requirements for feeding for that day.
But some families actually do that now.
No, somebody told me that she has increased the number of days she fasts, unlike before. I mean, that's another way to diet. So I think it will also help with weight loss and all that. But to see, because Nigerians are resilient people, to also see the positives in every situation. For us as Muslims, they say there is khair even in trials. So we also need to be grateful. I know that it may sound bitter to some people's ears based on what they are facing in their families, but yes, we still need to be grateful. Gratitude, having an attitude for gratitude actually brings more.
Yes.
Because of what Allah told us in the Quran, that la in shakartum la azidannakum, if you are grateful, I will increase you. So on a personal note, if you want your own life to be bountiful in spite of what is happening all around you, you also still need to be grateful for the little you have. We are here and we are talking and we are healthy. So if that person is in hospital that is facing a very huge hospital bill in spite of his pains, he's worrying about his health, because that kind of person, we wish that he was in a situation where he can just be complaining about the situation.
Yes.
So, despite everything we still have to be grateful. Yeah.
And of a truth, our survival from the beginning of this tragedy, let me call it agony, as you said, up to this level. If you look back and up to this moment,
now,
you just know that it's by the mercy of God. Do you know?
By the grace of God.
It's by the grace of God that people are surviving. If you ask people out there, how were you able to survive this? Even from just last week, even, what am I saying? From this week to this moment, how did you survive? They can't even tell you, okay, this is what I had to do, or this is a particular thing I had to do, I had to put in place, I had to do this. No, it's just the mercy of God. Some people might not know. That's why prayer is very important. If you know you've not been praying, increase your act of prayer. Increase your act of worship. It just might help us in this country. That's just what we need. So help us, and please keep helping us to make us, to engage in our conversation, because it's very important, like I said. And if you're still just joining, you're not too late. You can give us a final say. You can give us a final opinion, or you can give us your final, input
Thoughts
on what you think, that might help this country. And please, I'm begging you, help us to, whenever we post a video, please always drop a comment. It's really, it's got a long way to help us, because it helps us know that, yes, actually, because we are here, we are talking to people. We are hoping that we are talking to people and it's getting at people, and we hope to get a response from them. So your feedback is very important. We are Family Value Channel. We are all about family, how to make our families better, and whatever affects the family is what we are always, looking up, and possibly looking for solutions that can help us so that people don't suffer. Family is very, very valuable. We should value our family. So please, and not just family, of course, relationship and all that. So please always help us to, drop a feedback, if both positive or negative, anything. Don't just watch, because of course we get a lot of people that watch. Don't just watch and go. Please drop it. Even if you don't drop a like, please drop a feedback. It's got a long way to help us. It will boost our morale to know that, yes, we're actually talking to people out there. So please, thanks for watching.
Was I supposed to say something?
You said it already. Okay. You said what we need is prayer now, so.